It's the Wednesday wrap-up show with the Black Comic Lords. What's up?
What's up?
up?
We're still a little light by two people, and they show up when they show up, if they show up.
Yeah.
But my core team is here.
Right. We here.
I want to do a quick shout out to those who've already joined us, those who've joined us on time, and those who haven't shown up yet. But we'll be here within the next few minutes. So let's see. AJ, Pericles, Charles Stewart, the third.
What's really good?
Style,
What's good? What's good?
Robert and Monroe Jr. What's up?
My man
Mr.
Gordon.
Mr. Gordon. Bot Boy versus
Hot boy.
Marwan. What's up?
Marwan, how you doing, fam?
Uh-oh. Anthony Manzano.
What do you mean by killing Black Panther? The Ultimate Black Panther is actually just stay tuned, Anthony. You'll get the lowdown.
Yeah. But thank you very much for joining us. And also Damon Watson. What's up? What's up? So Paul.
All right. Let's jump into it. The title of this, what was the title of this episode? Marvel kills the Black Panther again. The Black Panther was killed in the MCU, right? We all know this. After the untimely passing of the great Chadwick Boseman, Marvel decided to not only not to recast the character for the following movie, Wakanda Forever, which people can have their opinions one way or the other. But the more important decision that they made, the more controversial decision, was that to actually kill the character in the MCU to line up with the killing or the death of the actor Chadwick Boseman, which many fans objected to, including myself. And one thing I've been saying literally for the last 3.5 years since they made that decision is that Marvel is no longer just comics. When Marvel Studios started, it was still a comic book company for the most part. That's no longer the case. The MCU makes way more money. And the MCU is what drives Marvel. So much so that Kevin Feige is now the head of everything Marvel, including the comics division. So, and then on top of all that, the MCU no longer borrows from the comics for their material, their source material. They're kind of vaguely borrow some names here and there and kind of make up the story as they go along, as we could tell by the last few phases of movies that we've seen. So Marvel Comics has become more a promotional material for the MCU. Logically, therefore, it would make sense for them, as I've postulated for the last 2 years, that they would have to, if at the very least, sideline T'Challa in the comic books, or at the worst, outright kill him to be in line with the narrative of what they have going on in the MCU. Because what you see happen in the films ultimately happens in the comic books in some way, shape, or form. Anyone who's paid attention to the MCU and Marvel Comics can see that. I said sideline or kill. Sidelining is one that one could argue has been happening for the last few years. Some would argue with the Coates run in terms of the deconstruction of the character. Definitely with the John guy, who I refuse to say his name. That guy, his run, complete deconstruction and destruction of the character, really. And just the fact that he just completed a Black Panther Blood Hunt series, which was excellent. And that did not lead to that same team continuing on with an ongoing series. Instead, he gets put in Avengers comics and is sent out to another dimension for several issues. So Those would argue, some people would argue, well, at least you got Black Panther and Ultimate Black Panther, which is a series we'll talk about. Great series, Brian Everett Hill. But that is not the 616 universe. That's not the character that counts for all intents and purposes. Great story. I love it. It's my favorite book to pick up every month, but it still doesn't count. So Marvel has now made an announcement just a few days ago of a new series coming out. Marvel Knights, The World to Come by Joe Quesada and Christopher Priest creates the future of the Marvel Universe. So here's the thing. Marvel Knights was originally a line of comics that were created when Joe Quesada was editor-in-chief at Marvel. He said, let's shake things up at Marvel. Let's make things a little bit edgier with some of our characters, some of our more obscure characters. Let's make them modern for the era, make them edgy, and come up with a new line of comics and see what happens. He took Punisher, I think Daredevil, Elektra, Black Panther, it might be one other character, I forgot. And gave them to great creative teams and said, go run with it and do some cool stuff. He chose Christopher Priest to do Black Panther, along with Mark Texier and later Sal Voluto. Marvel Knights was originally supposed to be a limited series. It was done on Premiere Paper, different format. As I said before, it's a little bit more edgy. But it was still part of the 616 universe. And ultimately, the series was so successful that extended beyond having a limited series run to being an ongoing series. In fact, it became the longest running ongoing Black Panther series of all time at like 62 issues or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. Christopher Priest redefined the Black Panther in that series. He made him cool. Much of the things that you saw in the MCU came from Christopher Priest's run on Black Panther. There have been other great runs, but Christopher Priest redefined the character for the 21st century. He is considered one of the preeminent Black Panther writers. So people have made comments about this announcement as, well, don't worry about it. This is probably an alternate universe, because the article goes on to say, the king of Wakanda is dead, leaving unguarded the world's most advanced technology, most precious metal, and a cryptic vault of dark secrets, while triggering global conflicts among Marvel's heroes, villains, and mutants. With T'Challa gone and the future of the Marvel Universe teetering on a vibranium knife edge, a tribal challenge ensues for the Wakandan throne, and its mysterious victor will emerge as the new leader of Wakanda and usher in the world to come. Nothing in that says this is an alternate universe. Now, there is talk here that says this is supposed to take place in the future. That is the assumption. It's going to take place in the future. There have been solicits of pictures. There's even in the pictures you see T'Challa and Storm. That's a good thing. I'm down with that. But you also see T'Challa fighting someone, allegedly, assumably, or I say T'Challa. You see two people in Black Panther garb fighting each other at the falls. One would assume that is for kingship of Wakanda and role of the Black Panther. Some people have said, don't worry about it. This is an alternate universe. But that's not what Marvel said. Christopher Priest creates the future of the Marvel universe, not the alternate universe, the future of the Marvel universe. Marvel Knights, people say, well, it's Marvel Knights. It's not the real Marvel Knights. The original Marvel Knights that he did was 616 universe and continued. So successful, it continued. and redefine the character. And they specifically said the purpose of bringing back Christopher Priest is to redefine the character, creates the future of the Marvel Universe. That doesn't sound like an alternate universe to me. But we'll see. I shall reserve my judgment. But I stand by what I said. It would be logical for Marvel, based on their track history, it'd be logical to assume they're going to kill T'Challa. Which I can't even begin to talk about the layers of how bad a decision that is. You had the preeminent black superhero in the world. He is the number one. Made $1.3 billion at the box office.
Yep.
You had him gain so much mainstream popularity that even white kids would go dress up as him for Halloween.
Yep.
He is a household name at this point. To kill him, to maintain the narrative that you're doing it to honor Chadwick Boseman makes no sense. I cannot imagine that a man who spent his last few years sick, knowing he was sick, knowing he was dying, and still decided to give his all into this character, so much so that he was giving edits to the director as to how to do the film, how his character should be portrayed. So much so that after the film came out, he would go around to hospitals with terminally ill children and visit them so that the Black Panther could visit them. That doesn't seem like a guy who was just saying, oh, it's just, a mantle that can go to some other person per se. It's not that big a role. I think he was giving it his all because he knew it was an important role and he wanted it to continue. You don't rob children of their heroes like that. Anthony Manzano says Black comic lord Kevin Feige recently did an interview at the end of last year, around November or October, that he's going to recast the Black Panther, specifically T'Challa, after the multiverse. Here's the thing, Anthony. Marvel in the Wakanda Forever film made a new T'Challa. They made T'Challa number 2, his son. Little, the guys always cringe when I say this, but the little bastard kid.
Oh, it sounds so vile.
Well, it is vile. Because when you think about the character of T'Challa in the comic books, what about that character makes you think that he would knock up his girlfriend,
And abandon his kid?
give her some money, say, get out of town, I'll pay for an apartment or a house somewhere else, and raise my kid on the low. Don't let anybody know about him. That's great for if you're an NBA player or an NFL player, but not for the king.
I don't know that it had to be that dark. There are some royal cultures that when you're protecting the lineage of a family, that the kids are away at school, and you could get that impression. It doesn't have to be the NBA player scenario. I mean, that's how I wanted to take it, is that they were protecting the bloodline after the whole invasion of the cousin from the city trying to take over the royal family and all that stuff.
I get all of that. That's what they said in the storyline. That doesn't prevent them from marrying his girlfriend and making the child legitimate. If you're really concerned, and if your long-term game is I'm going to protect this child so that he can reclaim the throne someday, right?
Yeah.
They gave him his name. They didn't have to call him T'Challa.
No.
They did that because they expect him to return to the throne someday.
Yes.
Well, why would you give your kid a harder claim to the throne by not marrying his mom?
Well, then that's just the narratives about the marriage part.
That's just stupid. It's
You
stupid.
know.
And it's a bad look. And it sets a bad
Uh-huh.
precedence. And there's nothing that a man who is as honorable as T'Challa, as portrayed in the comic books, you would assume would do. It just
Hey,
doesn't
Paul.
make any sense.
Well, we've got a whole lot of comments. I started several.
Let's get
You
into
can
the comments. I want to hear what
you can
y'all
kind
have.
of pick through, but everybody's so worried about T'Challa. I'm wondering, is Tosin going to be in this? Inquiring
That's a good
minds
You got
question.
have to know.
jokes. You got jokes. I'll tell you what. I
Mhm.
think what's going to happen, or what I suspect may happen, is that this unnamed warrior that we see in the pictures who's fighting, if this is set in the future, this is going to be Azari, son of T'Challa and Storm, because they showed one of the pictures they showed was a picture of T'Challa and Storm, right? So, assumably, maybe they might get back together, or this might be a red herring to appease Black Panther fans. But
Hey,
if
that one picture will sell how many issues?
it's going to sell a hell of a lot of issues.
Oh, they'll sell out.
Yeah.
That cover by itself will sell out.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's why I said this might be a complete red herring. But what may be happening is they're going to make that kid, this figure, this guy who's challenging for the throne, the son of T'Challa, T'Challa Jr. Now, there is Azari who technically exists in the 616 universe, the son of T'Challa and Storm, out of that Avengers storyline. A bunch of the next Avengers, the future Avengers, came out of another dimension, came into our 616 universe. And the last thing we saw with them, what's her face? Maria Hill had them in a basement somewhere and said, hey, what are we going to do next? And that was the last we saw of them. That was like 15 years ago, or whatever it was, 20 years ago. So technically, Azari does exist in the 616 universe. We haven't seen him, but he could be pulled out of obscurity and claim the throne. That would fit in line with the MCU's narrative of some kid, child of T'Challa, becomes the new Black Panther. That might
All
be
right.
what happens. Let's get into the questions, though.
So
I want to hear what they have.
this comment from Lady X Kerrigan, this was my initial thought. Like, if this is in the future, I mean, T'Challa is not going to stay young forever. So I was wondering if T'Challa just died a natural death, being quite old.
Let's see what the storyline here said. It said, it doesn't specify how he dies. It just says the king is dead. I mean, if it's that far in the future, maybe he dies of old age.
Yeah. And then here's another comment from Gordon. We'll work our way back to earlier comments, but this new story is probably taking place in a future that may or may not manifest.
Well, that's assuming that this is going to be an alternate universe story.
Mm-hmm.
It could be like how Reggie Hudlin did the Black to the Future, Black to the Future Black Panther annuals 1 and 2, which was a jump forward to T'Challa's future with Storm and their kids and grandkids.
Now, look at Damon's comment.
Was it Eve or Sherilyn who said Kevin is the de facto editor-in-chief for Marvel? I don't remember either one of them saying that, but it's possible. I think I don't even think that's de facto. I think he's head of Marvel, so I think that the editor-in-chief ultimately reports to him. What else we got? Isn't Marvel Knights more or less like an Elseworld story now? Well, that's a good question. What makes you say that based on the previous Marvel Knights run, which was not an Elseworld story? As I said before, the previous Marvel Knights Black Panther run was Black Panther Volume 3. It's completely canon. It's the Christopher Priest run. I think this is a way they're going to reintroduce Black Panther in the regular 616 universe for the comics. Reintroduce him. Well, he's still in the 616 universe. They don't have to reintroduce him. Unless you're talking about maybe introducing the ultimate version in the 6 ones. I don't know what that means. Are we getting ready to see Joe Quesada colonize Wakanda? That seems to be a recurring storyline, is Wakanda getting invaded and people trying to colonize it and steal the vibranium, which is what they say the
Yep.
storyline here is that the vibranium's up for grabs when T'Challa dies. How many Marvel futures ever came to pass? 2099 was supposedly to the future of the Marvel universe, and it wasn't ultimately the definitive Marvel future. Well, we're not in 2099 yet, so we don't know.
Right.
Okay, I just have to take a side step for a minute. So, Kevin, congratulations again for your win
Yeah, he got that
in
big.
the Brandon Thomas interview. Could you do us a favor, if you'd be ever so willing? Could you just take a picture of what Mr. Thomas sent you once it arrives? Because I'm just curious to see what all you got there. Because I think that was one of the more impressive opportunities to win that I think we've had.
Basically, the Imperious Flex wants you to flex your win.
That is correct.
Because he's all about the flex.
Please flex for us, Kevin.
And we are a little jealous about you winning that because we didn't win that. We're not allowed to win that. We never get to win the cool stuff. Charles Stewart III, I have a very cynical theory about what this long game decision points toward. The mantelization of the Black Panther image. The fact that they're already... Thank you. This is exactly what I'm pointing out. Is the fact that this mantelization of the character is a dangerous concept. It basically makes the Black Panther replaceable. He's a throw. It brings him down to being a throwaway character. Anybody can be Black Panther. It's not just T'Challa. The garbage guy can be Black Panther. It's ridiculous. There's one guy. He's got 60 years of comics. You don't throw that away because you made a bad business decision from an emotional movie director who probably needed therapy. Electric Blurry Niche. I think the Marvel Knights book is an alternative world. They said T'Challa and the world never broke up. In their hearts, they never have broke up.
Did they say that?
I didn't see that.
Okay. Hold on a minute. I'm just looking through these.
I'm looking through the article. I don't see anything about them saying T'Challa and Storm never broke up. Anyone else see that?
I'm looking. I don't remember seeing that either.
Yeah, I don't think that's a thing, dude. To be honest, Marvel Cinematic Universe needs to stop making Black lead movies because that always seems to not give us their best. Still waiting on Blade. Ironheart keeps getting delayed. So the answer is to not make Black led movies? Yeah, you kind of missed me on that one, dude. That doesn't make any sense.
Maybe it's the hinting at the narrative that usually happens when anything's made about us, but not by us.
Characters. Same old Holly. All right. Well, if you're saying don't disrespect Black characters, yes, I agree with that. Do I say they should promote them better? Absolutely, I agree with that as well.
What's up, Rich?
Hey, what's happening, y'all?
Hey, Rich.
Mr. CP Time himself.
No, this is priority time. That's all.
I know. I see I'm going about. Yes, I've worked 3 jobs. I go to school. I have people I have to pastor to. I have a dog to take out. I have a very busy life. We understand this, Rich. You are the busiest man alive. You're in high demand.
Well, I'm not gonna stop you. You ain't told no lies.
How you
What's
doing?
going on?
You doing good?
I'm all right, bro. Good to be seen. Hope everybody's all right. And yeah, man. Shout out to the Black Panther fans. Y'all at a crossroads.
A crossroads. How so?
I think that you're not getting what you want. You're getting stuff, but you're not getting what you want. And what you've been getting has been questionable on Marvel's part. They're not doing the Black Panther fan base any favors whatsoever. So I'm of the opinion, this just me, I'm of the opinion that Black Panther fans are not going to get what they want until they completely walk away from this IP. Come back to it perhaps when they do right by the character, but everything that's T'Challa, Wakanda based driven, say, you know what? Until you guys give us the Black Panther in the 616 recast and make him the king in the continuity, we're not buying none of this. Matter of fact, we ain't buying no Marvel books whatsoever. I just don't see no other way around it. Now, here's the thing. I'm not mad at Christopher Priest. I'm not mad at what Marvel is quote unquote doing. What I'm disappointed in more than anything is that we've been dealing with this since the death of Chadwick Boseman. And it makes no sense that after 5 years that this is where the fandom or where the continuity or where the IP has chosen to take this character. It's very disappointing. I think that we have gotten some good stuff in the meantime. Ultimate Black Panther has been fantastic. We've gotten runs from Eve Ewing and that have been serviceable. But like I said, that was a salad. That was not a full course dinner. You know, Sherilyn Eaton gave you 3 issues in terms of the Blood Hunt stuff. That's been, I think, amazing. So we've gotten quote unquote flashes, but this is one of your biggest characters, black, white, or whatever. And this is how you are treating its fandom. My thing is that if you're going to course correct, you're not showing us that that's the direction you're going in. Now, is this a something outside of the continuity? Perhaps. But why would Black Panther fans collect this? Now, of course, there's always a chance of resurrection, and that's what they may be trying to do. Blah 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 blah. But it's kind of like, guys.
The answer to your question is one word: hope.
Yeah. Well,
hope.
Y'all keep hoping. Y'all keep hope alive.
That's the thing, man. It's dangling the carrot. It's literally dangling. Marvel is fully capable of giving Black Panther fans. I'm talking about the real fans. I'm not talking about the people, the bandwagon fans that they hate I know everything about the Black Panther because I saw both movies. I'm not talking about those fools. I'm talking about the real Black Panther comic book fans. They can give those fans what they want. They've seen it. You mentioned Sherilyn Eaton. How that woman did not get a series immediately after doing Blood Hunt boggles my mind. She wrote in 3 issues a better storyline than I've seen in the last several years for that character. She earned that spot.
Paul, y'all don't want to hear the truth.
Man.
Y'all don't want to hear the truth. Let me tell you something.
I was going to say it.
The hardcore Black Panther fans are down for whatever, right? But here's the problem. There's not enough of you guys. There's not. Black Panther dangles around 100 when it comes to sales. That's the best books ever. Go look and do the mathematics or whatever. Should she have gotten the run? Absolutely. The stories were that good. The writing was that good. The pacing was that good. It's just not enough of fans, white and black, to really engage. How many times, Paul, will we post up a book and somebody will comment on the Facebook group and say, oh, when does that come out? Or when did that come out? That came out 3 years ago. I'm willing to bet right now, Paul, Derek can go online right now to the YouTube, to the Facebook group and post up, say, Black Panther issue number 7 from Eve Ewing's run, and post a couple of panels, and I'm willing to bet, well, if I was a betting man, I'm not, but I'm willing to bet that somebody's going to ask the question, oh, when did this come out?
Right.
Because, again, you have bandwagon fans, you have people that like movies but not necessarily comic books. You have a certain level of fandom in this space, unfortunately, that is not volunteered or has not voted with their dollars. We need people to vote with their dollars. Truth be told, it's unfortunate, but that's what Marvel has chosen to do with its most successful Black character. It's not right. I don't like it. But this is what and here's the thing, because Priest is on it and it's Black Panther, I think Marvel thought this was going to draw the hardcore in.
Absolutely.
But Priest is taking some online right now. And it's like, why would you even be a part of this? A character that you helped basically bubble, a character whose your story arc contributed to the movie that sold $1.4 billion. Why are you writing this?
Here's the thing. Christopher Priest is the reason I became a Black Panther. Let me rephrase. Christopher Priest is the reason Black Panther became my #1 favorite comic book superhero of all time. From issue number 1, 1998, I was hooked. I said, that's my guy. That's my guy. That's my superhero. That's my comic book. This is me. And he's been remained that ever since. They knew what they were doing when they hired Christopher Priest to bring back, quote unquote, Black Panther. But to make his, and this is I actually forgot to ask, is they never specified if this is a limited series run or not. The original Marvel Knights was also supposed to be a limited series that got expanded, as I said. So I don't know where they're going to go with this, but the fact that they could have Herschel did a video where he said Marvel's trolling Black Panther fans. It seems there's some truth to that. Why would you put in the very first line, the king of Wakanda T'Challa is dead? They knew what they were doing. They knew that that was gonna provoke some emotions, right? We're talking about it right now because of one singular line. King T'Challa is dead.
Yep.
I got a
question. I got a question, Paul.
Yeah.
Given that they brought Priest back to the book.
Yeah.
Now Christopher Priest has had multiple opportunities, I'm sure, to come back.
I'm sure he's been invited many times to come back.
So is this one of these times where the story itself, I don't know if he pitched this or they went to him and said, hey, we got this idea. I would like to know whose idea this was, because like I asked earlier, who's right? Why are you writing this? I'm almost willing to bet that Priest came back to this because it was something that intrigued him about the story itself. Christopher Priest, I know people love Hudlin, but Christopher Priest, in my humble opinion, has wrote the best Black Panther story arcs in the history of Black Panther. I love Don McGregor, Jonathan Mayberry, Liz, all of these dudes. But Christopher Priest, that particular story arc, The Client, is chef's kiss. Tell me a better story arc.
Yeah.
I know people like to throw in that Hudlin brought Roro and T'Challa together. I get that, but I'm talking about the actual story, the actual Everett K. Ross narrating this story about this client who's mysterious, who is, you know what I'm saying, he's got these beautiful women called the Dora Milaje around him. All of this stuff. You got humor, you got mystery, you got intrigue with that story arc. I ain't seen that since. And that's no shade against Hudlin. Hudlin did some dope stuff on it. But the truth of the matter is, Christopher Priest is that dude. We can go back and forth and say this was better than that or whatever. You can't even put Coates in this discussion. This is literally MJ and Kobe, okay? And Priest is MJ. Let's just be honest. Now, here's the thing. I'm going to shut up after I say this. I think that he was not interested in coming back to the book unless there's something that a story that he wants to tell, or a story Marvel is confident he can tell. Is he going to bring back the, I don't know. I just know that that's the guy. If you want anybody writing this book, Priest might be the guy. Okay? I'm not saying he's right. I'm just saying, who else would you want to write this kind of story?
If you were to say, who is the one writer that you want writing on Black Panther that you expect would pull in the fan base, Priest is the guy.
That's the guy.
You could say any other name, you'd be wrong. Priest is the guy. He is the definitive Black Panther writer, period, end point. Most of what you saw in the MCU, a lot of what you saw, is because of Priest.
This is a good question from Vagrant.
We have a lot of questions we have to go through. What are the odds Priest run is mandated by Marvel more so than his creator? Look, that's a question that literally he would have to be asked. If we're blessed with being able to do an interview with him, that would probably be the first question. Whose idea was it? Because we've noticed from the interviews that we've had, oftentimes that question of the editors came up with the concept and I just kind of fleshed it out is the issue, a lot of the complaints that we have about comics, they can be directly attributed to editors.
Anthony Manzano, he says, are you guys not fans of the Black Panther run by Coates? No, we are fans. Here's the thing about Coates. Coates took what was already put in place and he expanded on it or whatever. Yeah. Me and Paul kind of go back and forth. I believe that Nation Under Our Feet is the best Coates run ever. That's my humble opinion. Paul probably thinks the Space Black Panther was the best.
It's called the Intergalactic Empire, gosh darn it. Get it right.
He probably thinks T'Challa in Space is the better run. Either way, I know this. The Marvel's mandate, Christopher Priest, of all the Black writers that are out here that can say no to Marvel, that's the guy. He don't need Marvel. Marvel clearly needs him.
Right.
This is a guy, and one thing we have to do is we have to put respect on Christopher Priest. We have to put respect on his name before he was known as Priest, Jim Owsley. This is an OG.
What's Phil Thompson talking about? We got in this case about killing off T'Challa was bad. When did we ever say killing off T'Challa was not bad? Been saying that since day one. What's he talking about?
Got on your case. Oh, well, you know what? Go spin a record, Phil.
Uh-oh.
I'm just messing with. That's my guy. No, but real talk. I think that I don't like the fact that they declared that the king is dead. But okay, I'm gonna buy the book. I'm not gonna sit here and act like I ain't gonna buy the book. I'm gonna buy the book.
That's the part that makes me mad, Rich. That's the part that makes me mad. The one thing I said I don't want them to do, they're gonna end up buying the book anyway because it's like crack. This freaking comic book life, man.
If I could, I want to get Rich, your original comment when you first came on, it struck a nerve. Some people said yes, we should give up, stop buying, stop reading it, and other people are like, no, we got to keep hope alive. I want to put a poll out there. I want to make sure I've set up the question right. Okay.
Yep.
So what's the best approach for dissatisfied BP fans who want to see better? And is it keep buying and reading or give up, stop buying? Is that good enough?
Those
Yep.
that seems like a very
That's
oversimplification.
definitely overarching. I think it's cool to do it like that. The thing is, I mean, look, Marvel
Holes
has
out there.
Marvel has made it. Marvel has not really done a whole lot with black characters of late, in my humble opinion. I know there's Storm. There's the Storm book.
Yeah.
The Sam Wilson book.
Man,
I'm not buying that. I'm just not. They went off the ledge with that one.
I don't know what. we may have to talk about that issue a little later because yeah, man.
Oh,
the
Collector, you
second
funny.
issue raised red flags.
Yo, Paul, I forgot to get your I forgot to get your commentary on this. You know we've been saying Black Panther's name wrong, right?
Look, don't start with that, man.
You see, that's why the Black Panther fan is toxic. They don't even want to be told that they've been wrong after.
Look, Mama named him Clay. I'm gonna call him Clay.
So
Who'd you know about?
Stan Lee himself has pronounced it T'Challa.
Yeah.
If Stan Lee called him T'Challa, I'm gonna call him T'Challa. I'm not calling him Chala.
Yeah.
We actually had a few comments here I wanted to follow up on. Frustrated said, which the problem with that is that the IP dies unlike the white IP. And that's talking about divesting from the Black Panther comic. Do we really think that if we stop buying Black Panther comics, Marvel's gonna be motivated to do what we want him to do, or rather just get rid of the character?
I think it's honestly reactionary. Here's the thing. Comic book companies have, you know what? Shout out to Herschel for doing the show he did the other morning or the other evening. He covered some stuff on there in the show where talked about how IPs, how they, do certain things, and we cannot. I'm not going to use the words he used, but if you're looking for chocolate milk out of a white breast, you can forget it.
This is what happens when Herschel does shows by himself. There's no one to censor that dude.
Yeah, but I mean,
that's not how
it's kind of like it's kind of like the Sam Wilson.
Wow.
He's out of line, but he's right. And so we got to really consider this. And see, is this cognitive dissonance? Because it's kind of like you guys see what they're doing.
Yeah.
And to your point, Paul, it is a level of hope. However, why does hope supersede? Why does hope supersede, I would say, reasoning? Because to me, it's not unreasonable for Black Panther fans to say, you know what, I'm done. I'm not doing this with y'all no more. And and me personally, this is me personally. Me personally, as a Black Panther fan, I'm not a hardcore Black Panther fan, but I am a Black Panther fan enough to where I'm going to continue to buy. If I enjoy I enjoy reading about the Black Panther. Now, I don't like the fact that they want to do this story, but okay, you want to do it? All right, fine. I'm giving deference to the fact that Christopher Priest is the guy that's writing it. And it's not to say that Christopher Priest is perfect, but Christopher Priest has written some of the best comic books in the last couple of years. Quiet as it's kept. He wrote Superman Lost. That won an Eisner, I think. Okay? Christopher Priest, Black guy, writes a white character. Won an Eisner for it. Or got nominated for an Eisner. So, again, are we willing to give this a chance because it's Priest? Or are we just willing to take the headline like internet culture does and just automatically assume that this is what this is and T'Challa's never coming back?
Look at Jeffrey Thorne's comment.
Yeah, let's look at these two-part comment.
What was T'Challa before Priest? Understand, Priest book came out in 1998.
Mm-hmm.
The last Black Panther run before that was 1988, 10 years prior. with Dennis Cowan. It was a 4-issue limited series. There was a 10-year hole of no Black Panther comics at all. 10 years, a decade before Priest's run. So if we think we don't buy the comic, Marvel's just going to say, okay, we'll just find a better writer and artist team and make a better comic. What about Marvel's current state of comics makes you think that's going to happen? Particularly with a Black character.
That part.
Okay.
Everything that's happened with the characters since and because of
way
Priest was a
to,
huge shock to them. Yeah.
I think there's a way to influence the story without it being an all or nothing. So when they have the start of the story arc, and we've talked about it before with our community of pre-orders, right? They have to see, because money is what talks. They have to see that we're going to spend money, right? And it has to be during the pre-orders. But when issue 2 comes out, collectively we have to decide if this is the direction that we're going or not. It can't be that mixed bag where it's not enough of a pinch. Like there has to be a wave of money that comes in on that first issue. If it's good, obviously we need to continue and be faithful with the pre-orders so that Marvel sees the money. That's all they care about is the money. And then secondly, if that second issue is trash, then it needs to be abandoned or just buy it after it's in the stores. So if we're a little more purposeful as a community in the showing numbers and money, I think we can absolutely influence the direction of the comic books. But a complete abandonment, they don't care if it's never on the shelves again. That's something we love. They already gave us the hook. We're stuck on the hook. It's something that we admire at this point. So the dollar has to influence on going forward.
And the hope is what drives us to keep buying books that are not all that great. Particularly when you have 60 years of other books where the books were good, right? And you're thinking, well, we have the Priest run, we have the Hovland run, we got the Coates run. We know that this character can be great. Maybe they'll get back to that if I stick with it. That's kind of what motivates a lot of fans.
Well, let's look at Anthony's question. He says, "Panel, I have a question. Why, in general, does the Black Panther comic I guess it's not do so well to the general comic book reading public for Marvel? I looked at the numbers, and they don't seem to sell well."
That's true for most Black-led comics.
Anthony, we have this little thing called melanin. and melanin tends to make people feel some kind of way. Black Panther, of all the Black characters, is a cultural character, which means that
colored in brown number 5.
He is he is culturally woven into the fabric of Black people because he is someone who was African. Us in America, we are of African descent. We have an identity and an affinity for the motherland. That's who we are. White folks, on the other hand, don't find themselves identifying with the melanin because we know white history. Here's the truth. They will read Tarzan. They will read Kamandi.
Wow, you going there?
They will read Kazar.
Yep, all facts.
Oh, Lord.
They will read all of that because it shows them at the center of the universe. When we become the center of things, they exit stage left. They may not be racist. They might just be culturally not in tune. Because you can't read Black Panther and I trust. I have seen white guys try to critique Black Panther. And it is literally like watching a white guy mumble rap. It just do not work. It just does not work. So the dominant culture is white. I didn't make up the rules. I look, I'm just here so I don't get fined. And all I'm saying is they don't buy because to them, it don't apply to them. We, on the other hand, love Captain America. We love Superman. We love all these other characters that we are not connected to. If we hated them so much, we wouldn't even talk about them, or we would not even read their comic books. But most of the time, most of us we started off reading those books. So we don't have a quote unquote prejudiced body or connection to this because this is our childhood. We watched the Super Friends before Vulcan, aka Black Lightning Jr., showed up on the screen. We watched Batman in 1966. We watched Superman when it was in black and white. We did all of this without having a cultural connection to it. It was on our TV screens. It's no different than those of us that grew up in the 80s and we watched MTV. We ain't know nothing about Men at Work. We ain't know nothing about Culture Club. We didn't know nothing about all of it. We were introduced to this stuff through the TV screen, and we became fans of it. But white folks, for whatever reason, don't make that investment. They should, but they don't. So they don't buy the books. And because they don't buy the books, it's on us, to Angel's point, to buy the books. Because if that book is going to be successful or if it's going to fail, it is going to fail because we did not support it. Because we know they ain't buying it. The numbers show they not buying it. Now, ask a white guy, why don't you like Black Panther? See how that conversation go.
And there's another factor too, which is I think the Black Panther movie proved that there's a lot of people who will buy into the Black Panther story and T'Challa character. However, if comic books are only going to be available in a local comic shop in a place that is not accessible to a large population that's not going there right now, but this is the only place where you can find Black Panther comics, you have another problem. You have a distribution problem.
Yeah, I mean that's all true.
Yeah.
I think
add another layer to that.
Go ahead.
Which is this discussion that we've been having about Marvel pushing the mantelization idea of T'Challa, that he is replaceable. He's a replaceable person. We as a people have always been replaceable people, right? Where there's always been replaceable people throughout history. We're disposable. And that's what they're trying to make the character. They're trying to say he is disposable as a character. So much so, take a look at this. This is what I'm talking about. Share my screen here. Look at what Marvel has as its upcoming properties. Eyes of Wakanda. Great series. Exciting. I'm excited to see the history of Wakanda. It's fascinating. Go throughout history and try to collect artifacts from Wakanda. But T'Challa is not going to be a part of that. By itself, not a big deal. But Marvel has a video game. Also not taking place in the time period of T'Challa. Takes place in World War II with his granddaddy. Also no T'Challa. And then, even when you do a property in the timeline of T'Challa in X-Men 97, where we know for a fact T'Challa exists because all of his contemporaries exist in this universe. They don't put T'Challa. Marvel is going out of its way to avoid putting T'Challa in the 616 universe. They're avoiding promoting him in the outside properties that allow people, the next generation, to get into comics, to get into the character. They're removing him from those properties. When Rich and I, with our gray hairs, when we were kids, how we got into comics was through cartoons.
Yeah.
Kids today, same thing. You got the Eyes of Wakanda, that's a cartoon, right? It's an animated feature. You got video games, Marvel Rivals. You got, that 1943 game. This is how kids get into comics now. You're going to take T'Challa out of that? You're going to have a whole generation of kids who watched Wakanda Forever, who played this video game without T'Challa, who watched the Eyes of Wakanda series without T'Challa, who watched X-Men 97 without T'Challa, and saying, it's just a mantle. T'Challa's not important. He's disposable.
Look, somebody get, I'm going to call for a revolution or a riot.
And televise it?
Yeah. Go ahead and run the disclaimer, Derek.
If you ask for the disclaimer, it's going to be bad.
Go ahead and run the disclaimer.
Oh, it's coming.
Right.
That wasn't.
Okay. So, how do we solve this? Somebody holler at Ray Anthony Height, who created Midnight Tiger. And I'm just saying, all you Black Panther fans, go where you are appreciated, not where you're tolerated. Now, if you stay where you are and have to put and endure more for the sake of hope, and see, I know something about hope because as a pastor, part of my job, if I can say it like that, or my job as a servant, is to give people hope in the midst of despair. That's part of the package of presenting the gospel, giving people hope. Now, if you are content with the hope of T'Challa returning, stay where you are, continue to buy, continue to support Marvel in their efforts to, at some point, one day bring him back. Or you can say, hey, let me get Wiseacres on the phone. Let me get Godhood Comics on the phone. Let me get, all of these IPs that do Black superheroes. Let me get Advent Comics on the phone. Let me get some people on the phone where our heroes are in the hands of Black collectors, Black creators, Black artists. He said, you're breaking my heart. I'm not trying to break your heart, bro. Listen, I'm saying at some point, as a comic book head, everybody reaches a breaking point. Black Panther fans, I liken y'all to John Henry. Y'all are determined to outwork that steam engine. You just keep driving and driving and driving and driving and you win.
And you know why? You know why, Rich? Do you know why we maintain our hope?
Yes, sir.
Because we've been to the promised land.
Mm-hmm.
We've been to the mountaintop.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen what it's like to have the king be the king.
Mm-hmm.
We see what it's like to have the king marry a goddess and be the preeminent couple in comic books.
Mm-hmm.
We've been to that top. And you know who wrote us there? Christopher Priest.
Hemdahl, Hemdahl says, I have a question. Why you keep saying, oh, you Black Panther fan? Are you not a fan as well? Just asking. Sounds like you're separating yourself. Listen,
Rich, let me explain.
Yeah, go ahead and
explain.
explain.
There are layers to Black Panther fandom.
Yes.
This has become clearly evident. You have your casual fans, you got your comic book fans, you got your hardcore comic book fanatic fans, and then you got a level of fandom that is damn near pretty toxic. These are the fanatics.
Hey, I know some. Let me to clear it up, him dog. When I say all you Black Panther fans, I am truly being facetious, and I'm talking to myself as well. I talk like this because I'm just ignorant and I don't know no better. I talk like this because I'm like your uncle that really sees you. You know, I love you. I care about you. I want what's best for you, but I know you're going to do the stupid stuff. So I put myself in a position where I can disassociate myself with you, but I'm clearly stuck with you because that's what family does. So I'm being facetious when I say that. I'm not trying to separate myself. I talk like that only from the entertainment aspect because, you know, here's the thing. I don't co-sign everything that Black Panther fans agree. You know, I don't do that, but what I do, I understand. I understand. Listen, Hamdall, you should have been here when John Ridley was writing. You can go back.
We do not say that man's name.
No. We got it. Hey, don't we got shows, videos of that Derek? We got them shows from back in the day. Ain't they still up on YouTube?
Yep.
You can go back and you can go back and watch me and Paul go back and forth over John Ridley slaughtering, breaking hearts all over and Paul was like, Richard, this is trash. And I'm like, come on, give him a minute. Let's see where he goes. Next issue. Richard, this is trash.
Additional trash.
Paul. Wait, it took me to issue 7 to finally say,
that's actually true. It wasn't until about issue 7 you're like, all right, this is objectively trash.
So eventually I got on board with the whole thing. Now, here's the thing about that. And I did a live with one of the biggest Black Panther fans I know, in Otis. And we talked about what I thought was, at the time, the reason Ridley wrote what he wrote. So as a Black Panther fan, I'm vested. I got every comic, every run. I got 10 volumes of Black Panther. I got Black Panther. I got a Marvel versus Capcom Black Panther comic book. Everybody ain't got that, but I got it, and it's a story about T'Challa. But everybody ain't got it.
What is this? Paul is mean to he who should not be named, even when he found out that he who should not be named was forced to do it. Look,
see, that's that toxicity Paul was talking about earlier.
I understand it is work for hire, but there is some subjectivity as to how you execute the plan the editor gives you. And that seemed personal. So no, he who should not be named does not get a pass from me for that. He's an excellent writer. Let me be clear. I have never said he's not a good writer.
Johnny Locke.
He's just not a good writer on Black Panther. So the fact, actually, his resume works against him in my distaste for his run on Black Panther, because I know that a guy who wrote those previous works, who had that level of skill, definitely could have done better on Black Panther. So that means it was personal. It was intentional. And he doesn't get a pass. F that. Sorry.
Well, you know, I call him Johnny Law. I mean, it is what he did give us the Buffalo Soldier.
That's Buffalo Soldier. Come on, man.
You know what I'm saying? He gave us the Buffalo Soldier. Shout out to DJ Big Phil, who got the original pencils on that.
He does.
You know,
Anthony asks, is it possible the series might start as it's a 6-issue limited series. So yes, it can be a 6-issue limited series and go beyond if it is successful. That's what I was saying with the original Marvel Knights run. It was only going to be a limited series. In fact, if you go back and look at your old volume 3 of Black Panther, the first several issues say Marvel Knights on them. When they decided to continue it as a regular series, it doesn't say Marvel Knights anymore because it was continued as a regular series.
Yep.
That could very well happen here, which is why I'm telling you, don't just assume, oh, it's just a limited series. It's an Elseworld. It doesn't count. Marvel can make anything they want count.
Now that's so funny. The collector says the Buffalo Soldiers scratching my. Listen, that was dope in its own way. A black man rolling up on T'Challa on the real buff.
There are definite different layers to the definition of dope.
that was hilarious. I would just say this, that given the history of the Buffalo Soldiers, you literally have to know how disrespectful that was. You have to know the history of Buffalo Soldiers. So a lot of people, that probably went over a lot of people's head. That
Speak on it.
That literally probably went over a lot of people's head that this character called the Buffalo Soldier was riding a buffalo. I know me and Amani had a fun time with that. But the history of the Buffalo Soldiers, because when black military soldiers back in the West were fighting the natives or the indigenous people of this land, they called them Buffalo Soldiers because of the wool of their hair.
Right.
So that's where that comes from. He said, Thorne, Jeff said it was trash.
My man Thorne,
y'all,
if anyone can definitively define.
And you know what? And guess what, y'all? Paul got every issue, every variant of trash. And it's
I tried giving away a lot of it at the end of the year show. If anybody wants copies of that run, I have plenty to spare. I'll give them to you for free.
Yeah. Paul was rocked for a season. He was rocked for a season.
Oh my God.
Paul, I heard you left some out on your driveway, and when you came back, there's double the number sitting there.
I'm seriously considering just burning them just out of spite.
Oh my God.
When Jeffrey Thorne, who has written the best one-shot story of Black Panther of all time, who also wrote a fantastic Black Panther cartoon series in Avengers Panther's Quest.
Mm-hmm.
If he says it's trash, that's all I gotta say.
I mean, it is what it is. I did not like the run. I mean, you know what I'm saying? But I'm like, Paul called stuff trash, whatever, but he kept buying every issue. He kept going to the comic book shop.
But there's a reason for that. I'm a Black Panther fan. I collect Black Panther comics.
You can listen. Angel.
Yeah.
I had never met a man that collected a turd and tried to dress it up. So that's what them variants were. It was a literal turd.
I disagree. The covers on that run were excellent.
Derek,
I'm a casual fan, though. I'm very casual.
I know what it is. I know what you're gonna.
Please, Derek, bring up the epitome. Bring up the.
Okay, you know I'm working on it.
Don't bring up that. Don't bring up that one cover I can't stand to see. Do not bring up that one.
Oh,
Derek, I will drive to North Carolina
the
and
greatest Black Panther run variant. I ain't seen a variant better ever since.
Is it that one that I said looked like a bedroom mask? Is it that one?
The whole squad is trolling me right now. The whole squad is trolling me.
Why can I not find it? Hold on, find a good one.
That is hilarious. All I know is
I give you time to mentally prepare.
Shout out to Alex Ross, who I know got a brick. He got a brick for that.
That cover actually wasn't by Alex Ross. If you're talking about the same cover I'm talking about.
What?
It's Alex Ross.
I want to see which one we're talking about.
The cover we're talking about is Alex Ross.
Maybe we're not talking about the same cover then. You talking about the one where he was beat to a pulp?
No.
Oh. No. We're talking about this one.
Ta-da.
That's Namor.
That foolishness. This cover makes no damn sense. None.
Is he coming out of the water? Why does he look naked?
Out
is
the water,
literally
drying himself off,
Wakanda's
I don't think I've
enemy.
seen this one. That's ugly.
drying
He
himself
is
off with the
literally
Wakandan flag.
Wakanda's enemy.
That is so
He literally
disrespectful, though.
killed thousands of Wakandans. T'Challa got heat from his own family. His own dad disowned him because he didn't kill this guy fast enough. And then he gets welcomed back.
Wakanda's
Man,
new
Bruh,
protector.
bruh,
I'm about to
bruh.
lose.
I'm just saying, man, that you can say what you want, but that cover is amazing. I don't.
Amazing
That thing
garbage.
is hideous.
He got me and Otis were laughing behind. He got it wrapped up under him. He got it tucked under his balls. That right there.
He does have it tucked
Did you
under.
Did you just say
Yes,
Namor is teabagging
yes.
Wakanda right now?
Bruh, that's what it is.
He is literally wiping his whole ass with that flag. Okay.
And Paul's reaction to that.
He got
Oh, no. 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 No, 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 no.
I'm just saying, y'all. So look, so to everybody out there, we just having fun. We just trolling. We just
Trolling hard. Whole squad trolling me.
we
I
are just
mean, that cover is pretty terrible. You bought that?
yeah, bought it.
How many, though? How
He
many?
might have bought two covers. Two
That's
issues
what I'm
at least.
wondering. How many?
I don't ask me that
That
question.
thing is
Angel.
hideous.
Don't ask me that question, Angel.
You know, I just look. What I'm gonna tell you what makes this cover so horrible. What makes this cover so horrible is the story behind the cover,
Yeah.
because he's the one that Wakanda, as a quote unquote democracy or whatever you want to call themselves now, they solicited his help. Now
After he killed a
T'Challa
bunch
for
of
his
people.
now
Okay.
T'Challa for his part saw Namor and slugged him. So
This is the
Yeah.
equivalent of America saying, let's kick Barack Obama out of office and make Vladimir Putin president.
Yes.
That's what happened in this storyline. It didn't make any sense.
you know what though? I'm just saying, y'all, it's comic books.
I don't want to
And-
talk about Black Panther
Anything
anymore.
can
You guys
happen
know
in a
that.
comic book.
Say it again. Say it again, Angel. Guess what's gonna happen? Shout out to our guy. Now listen, shout out to our guy David Walker. David F. Walker's getting ready to write Godzilla. I think it's Godzilla versus the Avengers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's getting ready to do a Godzilla comic book. And so again, which is interesting though, because I don't see T'Challa on the covers of any of those books. Where's the King of Wakanda? I'm just saying. We just we just I'm gonna tell you something. Y'all might not like this thing about T'Challa, but it makes for great content. And say, I think we're gonna be all right, y'all. I think we're gonna be all right. But will we feel some type of way about certain things? Yeah, cover like that. Yeah, that's we was trolling.
So here's the David Walker, David Walker, and Georges Genti, black artist Georges Genti, who was most known for doing Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and he was the artist with your boy Rodney Barnes on his Star Wars books.
Yep.
So a total black team on this Godzilla versus King of Monsters.
Yeah. Going back to the comment before, she said the Godzilla eat back. I talked about that on Real Talk with Rich last week about the black. Now here's the thing. I'm not here to troll. I'm just reporting the news. I reported that yes, Black Panther actually it says the solicit says Black Panthers with an S, because there's a Hulk's component to this, and then there's a Black Panthers component to this as well. So this is the cosmic story. So it's a chance that we are going to see the intergalactic space Black Panther Republic of Wakanda. Yeah,
Are you talking
whatever.
about the Imperial thing?
Yes,
Oh,
that's
Imperial.
going to be the summer event. It's going to have Black Panther in it, or Black Panthers in it.
Yeah,
There
he's
you go.
going to deal with the intergalactic empire of Wakanda. Look, Jonathan Hickman is one of those writers, the few writers who can walk into Marvel's offices and say, I have an idea for a story. And they pull out the checkbook and say, here, you have blank check. You can have whatever you like. And you can let the story, you can have as many issues as you like. He's one of the few writers that can do that.
Mhm.
And he's also a writer who I consider to be one of the Black Panther writers, because his New Avengers run should have literally been called Black Panther and His Little Friends.
Yep.
It was a Black Panther Avengers team before Black Panther was made chairman of the Avengers, because he was the head of the Illuminati for all intents and purposes for what was the predecessor, the prequel to Secret Wars.
Now, I would like for them to bring back the Illuminati, with T'Challa at the table for sure.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that he shows up in the Doom books. I don't know, but I hope he does show up in the Doom books, because T'Challa and Doom go back, and that would be dope to just see them kind of go at each other again. But yeah,
Paul, which cover? What was the cover you thought we were talking about?
I don't want to bring it up.
Oh, okay. I'm
Stop
trying to
trigger
figure
me,
out which
Derek.
one it was.
What
Was it the one? Was it the cover to number?
He's been
Number
traumatized
15?
enough.
You see, chat. This is what this dude does. If he's
I'm
not
just
trying to
figure out.
outflex me, he's trying to directly trigger me. This is what I gotta live with.
Was it 15 though? When he's in the Panther's mouth?
Anyhow,
Well, you know what?
I have a minor flex that I'd like to share
Yeah.
tonight.
And I talked about that though, but then Paul didn't want to hear it. Matter of fact, Paul said, "You don't know what you're talking about." I was like, "Bro, where's Bass at?" She was carrying T'Challa broken body. He's like, "You know what? Here, come on, boy. Time to go home."
I don't want to talk about that. You know the Black Panther we'll talk about?
Yeah, Black Panther issue 14 came out this week.
Yes.
Among other things.
Black Panther issue number 14 came out. You want to bring that up, Derek?
Reads of the week.
Reads of the week. Let's go to the reads of the week.
So shout out to everybody who tolerated me trolling Black Panther fans tonight, disassociating myself. Even though I'm in the same boat with y'all, I'm picking up trash too when it comes out. It's I'm like Kanye West. At least I'm just one to admit it.
Okay.
So we got our reads of the week here. Go to the League of Comic Book Geek website. Just as an aside, League of Comic Geek's website now has a feature that you can tie in your previews account, which ties into your local LCS, your LCS. You can input your LCS into a previews account, make your pre-order selections for your comics in that account. Your LCS will get that list for you and generate a pull list for you and pre-order your comics. Now you can attach that previews account to your League of Comic Geek account. So in essence, your League of Comic Geek account can have your pull list. And moreover, you can follow the Black Comic Lord pull list that we have here, that we curate for you every week, and make your pre-orders for the coming.
Yeah. Or as I like to say, here are all the books that y'all not gonna buy.
Here's
that part.
That's accurate and Herschely, but absolutely
painfully obvious.
Painfully obvious. All right, so this is another one of the last issue of this was pretty good. A lot of action.
Yep.
A lot more story development. One of the only criticism I have on this run is that each issue seems way too damn short. And that's part. it's almost a compliment because you want more, but the issue themselves seem very short.
Yeah, they took the Boom Studios formula.
Yeah. So, and you see on this cover, you see this character, I forget his name, but he is the living embodiment of vibranium. He is like a spirit of vibranium made manifest.
Is that the big homie in the chat?
Who's
Tony Cottrell? Is that it? What is government name? Anthony.
Oh yeah, he commented earlier.
Anthony Cottrell. You got your government name on here, bro? Really?
Anthony. I'm surprised he didn't put his like middle name, like Anthony Jerome Cottrell or something.
Hey,
all right.
Jerome's a good name. Thank you.
Is that your middle name, Rich?
Of course.
How'd I know?
Yeah, yes, my middle name is Jerome. Yes. Y'all learn something new every day.
In the house.
See, that's what I don't tell nobody. That's the first thing they say. Hey, Jerome in the house. Watch him out.
He's the thriller from the Hillers.
Yeah.
All right. So, long story short, T'Challa's still trying to figure out who this living embodiment of vibranium is. He ends up having to go out and go on a quest. He makes Killmonger general in his army to basically lead as he leaves Wakanda to go on his quest. And Killmonger's like, oh, take my girlfriend Aurora, she'll help you out. And T'Challa's like, she hates me. He's like, she hates who you represent, but she'll warm up to you. I mean, just give her a chance. It's kind of like foreshadowing. You got T'Challa giving Killmonger a taste of power by putting him in charge of Wakanda's armies. You got Killmonger saying, take my girlfriend Aurora Monroe, your future wife, and have her go with you. It's like a big setup issue. So that's pretty much this issue in a nutshell. Here's some covers. This is the 1 in 25 by Mark Bagley. It's a dope cover.
Yep. Yeah, that one's cool.
This is a part of a series of connecting covers. There's going to be a series of them. There's T'Challa, there's Shuri, and Okoye with these connecting covers done by Rod Reyes. These are beautiful.
Yeah, that one's excellent.
So, I need you to go back because look, I mean, he kind of got the nose too right.
They got the nose.
He got it spot on.
All right.
Wide nose.
I'm not going to go through everything because I want to try to keep us under 2 hours.
Gotcha. Let's go.
Avengers 24. This was a heist story involving Black Cat and kind of her father, basically. She's working for Kang. Kang is fed up with trying to help the Avengers with their tribulation events. And that's pretty much it. That's pretty much the issue.
Speaking of Kangs, man,
more because by the end of this issue, Doom has taken over the United States and is making moves. So this is the prequel to the One World Under Doom storyline.
Okay.
Oh, at the end of it, the major villain team is introduced at the end. I won't say who it is, but if you read the solicits, you'll know who it is.
Speaking of Kang, shout out to Jonathan Majors, who locked down his Coretta.
Yep, he got married.
Got married. Running from a white woman to do that.
Yeah, and also when he marries Meg, anything he says to her, she can't be forced to testify about in court.
Of course,
there's that.
That's the bonus. Now, why is Conan the Barbarian?
Because the artist on this, is Mr. Doug Braithwaite.
Oh, okay. That what's up?
A Black British artist.
Okay.
Who's done work for Marvel as well.
Okay. See. That's one of them books that
Milestone. He was the artist on the Icon and Rocket series. So that's why he's on here. So what else we got? Exceptional X-Men. I love Eve Ewing, but this issue was slow. There was pretty much no action in it. It's a lot of exposition. It's a different run. I'll tell you this. If you're a Herschel and you like, your Cape and Cow comics to have a lot of whiz bang pow, this is not the series for you. If you are someone who's more into indie comics and you like character development and exposition, this is your comic, because that's what this book is. It's not, it's almost weird to almost call it X-Men because it's not really X-Men-y. I mean, it's got mutants in it in those storylines, but it's really just more of a character development and type thing. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's a different style and different mode and different genre of comic.
Is she still working at the coffee shop, or is she bartending still? What?
She's officially embraced her role as a mentor to these young mutants.
Well, good for her.
I'm gonna skip over some of these books. So here, Miles Morales 31. Miles, this is the crossover event. Shout out to Cody Ziegler, who is the writer of two of Marvel's hot titles, Deadpool and Miles Morales. Both do well. These are top tier characters, and he's writing both of them at the same time. So of course he has to do a crossover event. Cody Ziegler, I think in retrospect, is going to get a lot more notoriety, and people will understand what he's done in terms of building Miles Morales as being someone other than the Black Spider-Man, the black version of Spider-Man, I should say. Because how you distinguish yourself as him being his own version of Spider-Man is giving him his own agency in his own book, giving him his own rogues gallery, giving him his own supporting cast. Cody Ziegler has quietly been doing that over the course of this entire run. He's giving Miles his own role within the Marvel Universe. He introduced Kwase Anansi in this series, which was my idea, by the way. Check the video in the interview with Cody Ziegler. Completely my idea. I'm not even exaggerating. But the fact remains, Anansi says, look, I have plenty of heralds, meaning lots of Spidey people. There's a whole Spider-Verse of people. These are all his heralds. Peter Parker, his herald. But he wants a champion. Out of all the heralds, he has selected Miles Morales to be his champion. So he's following him around. He's like literally sitting on his shoulder talking to Miles as he's going on these adventures, as he's trying to collect storylines, because that's what Anansi does. He tries to collect stories, and these stories help him to be the intergalactic weaver of history and the universe, or what have you. That's where his powers lie. What's interesting in this issue is Cody is building to a God War storyline where you have other characters introduced in this. You have Miles going up against a herald of Ares, the god of war.
Okay, I'm gonna need you to stop telling it because I haven't read my Miles yet.
No, I'm not going into detail, but what I'm telling you is that he's building to a God War storyline. There's two other gods he introduces in this storyline that you'll recognize. And they're saying in the subsequent issues, it's going to be a major crossover with various gods. So,
like Frustrated's comment, he says, the crazy part is white fans are reading Miles. I think that the reason why they're reading Miles is because, one, Miles is stuck around. He wasn't he initially was a novelty. I like Brian Michael Bendis, but when Bendis had Miles, it kind of felt about to throw up in my mouth.
Oh, well, dang.
It kind of felt like a novelty, and that's why my whole angst against Miles steered from him being, basically static. But what they've done with him is that he has become larger than the actual comic itself. And that was true when they brought the video game out. The animation has done wonders for Miles. And I've said on this show that I'm good with Miles not ever doing live action. If they keep giving us the animated stuff that they've been giving us, I'm good with that.
Yeah.
Let Cody Ziegler, let him cook and bring us back the next part of the Spider-Verse stuff. I don't care about this other stuff. but he has gained my respect, and part of that has been Ziggler's writing. You know, nothing against Ahmad, because I think Ahmad did okay, but clearly Cody Ziggler is putting the investment in, almost to a point where it almost feels like Miles is going to be OP at some point. Which why I think they need to slow that down a little bit, because right now he got weapon for days.
Plus, Miles isn't a 30 to 40-year-old loser bumming off his elderly aunt, perpetually separated from MJ. Yeah. The problem with Peter Parker is Peter Parker has not grown as a character in the last 30 years. That's a problem. They won't allow Peter Parker to grow up. Shout out to Anthony Davis for the super chat.
Thank you.
Respect.
Helping us pay these Black Comic Lord bills.
Respect, Anthony Davis. You know what? Let me just go on record and say that we got a dude down in Dallas called Anthony Davis. You probably can, take his spot on the Maverick squad because he's Mr. Glass. And we need all the help we can get. but since I'm pretty sure you can't, so thank you for the super chat.
Donation. It's a donation. I thought it was the trash. Don't be hitting on me.
Thank you.
Now, Paul, Anthony started this, and let me just go ahead and keep going. Now, Anthony, I'm not sure. I've never seen him. Maybe you've seen him on your show or whatever, but Anthony has opened up his wallet. And so I need the rest of y'all, if you're not going to hit the like button, put some money.
Yeah, let's pause the show right now. I need everyone.
$1.
You know what I'm saying?
I need everyone.
Listen, Paul, if you're not going to buy a comic book, send us the money.
Right. Facts.
Real talk, though. Thank you for the super chat. And then the rest of y'all come on and help. Come on. We need the help.
Does everybody want to donate like $1 right now? We got like 90 people watching us. If everyone donates $1, that's like $90. We could use the money. How about $1, everybody? $1. $2.
These duct taping prayers can only go so far.
No, all right.
How about one rib?
Keeping on giving you free. At least get y'all to hit the like button. Share the video. Share. We're like losing viewers now because we asked for people to give us money and likes.
No. We good. Let's go. Let's go back to the Kika Comic Geeks, because I did want to say something about Daredevil, but I guess we'll get to that later, maybe.
Right. So here we go. So, new series I've really enjoyed is this New Champions. Back in the 90s, I was a big New Warriors fan. The concept of a group of teen superheroes are like, we don't like the way the system works. We want to buck the system and make our own superhero team. You have the Champions, which consist of Miles Morales, Ms. Marvel, Nova, and Vision, going up against these new champions who have taken their name. I don't know. Something about this, the youthful energy of this book is really cool. It's got new characters. It's got a couple black characters, which are really cool. Moon Squire, and who you see here is the Moon Knight variant, or Moon Knight sidekick type character. And you've got Gold Tiger, who is the Wakandan girl on the team as well.
Real quick. Is Danny Law writing this?
No.
Who's the writer on this?
Steve Fox.
Okay. I couldn't really see the. It's kind of blurry on my end.
And then in the next issue, just for pre-order sake, you have the origin of this character, Gold Tiger. So get your pre-orders in. This will be, for all intents and purposes, a key because it's an origin story of a new character, a new Wakandan character, Gold Tiger. This is issue number 4 of New Champions. And
for those of you that need a spec, it might be the new Black Panther.
Stop it.
we got super chats piling up. We got 4 of them now.
Hey,
Everyone give a
let's
dollar.
go.
There
All
we
right, so just quickly here, Damon Watson, we really appreciate your super chat. Thank you
Salute.
very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah,
Mawan,
Maron Williams
my man, 100 grand. How about them Cowboys? All right.
and
Jay,
JW,
what up? What up? Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We
and
appreciate
also
it.
Charles Stewart III.
Hey, what's going on? Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, this many super chats at once, it might overload.
You got to hit the overload meme.
No,
I
no,
think
no.
so.
We ain't got that.
Okay, we fixed it now. We're back
All right.
on.
Appreciate that, everybody. Appreciate that. Lord knows we can definitely use the money.
Thank you, Eclectic Blurdsnitch. Also, another super chat.
Peace. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, we talked about this. Let's just jump into this freaking book, man. Captain America, Sam Wilson, #3. Now, look, first of all, on this cover, Sam Wilson looks like Tyrese. I just want to point that out. That's completely irrelevant to what I was trying to say, but that's clearly Tyrese. He doesn't even have his goatee like he has in the comic book. This is Tyrese.
I just want to see my baby.
That's baby boy right there.
Cryrese. Not Tyrese, but Cryrese.
Yeah. All right. So look, last issue of this series ended with our heroes being on a slave plantation. I wish I could say I'm exaggerating when I say that, but unfortunately, it was a slave plantation. There was, look, the storyline of this book is that there's this mega corporation that has a floating city that they said, look, farmers or whoever wants to recreate their life, we're going to offer you 40 acres and a mule. We're going to offer you free land in which you can farm and make money for yourself.
Yep.
And so a bunch of colored folk, because black people are being discriminated in farming right now. You had to Google, is that actually a good thing to Google? Said, hey, that sounds like a good deal. But they specify, yeah, a lot of the people that are taking up on this are people that are ex-cons. Like, why would that be? Why would people that want to choose a better life, the majority of them be ex-cons? I digress. But that's what they put in the storyline. So a bunch of colored folk decide, hey, we're going to start a new life with our 40 acres of mule on this property floating in the sky. But what they don't know is that they're being brainwashed and mind controlled with a substance from a country we all know. I really want to like this. It's got Josiah X. Look, on the cover of this, you have this dope cover by Torrin Clark. Shout out to Torrin Clark, who I think, he's the next Alex Ross, in my opinion.
Dope.
The Shadow Soldier character he's created is dope. This was, honestly, this is kind of like a low grade minor, super minor key. As problematic as this storyline is, because they kind of go into the origin of Josiah X, how he got here, how he became the Shadow Soldier. They kind of go through his origin. It's kind of been told in the crew, but this goes into a little bit more detail. So in essence, it is kind of a low grade key, minor key.
I'm gonna just say that the cover itself is interesting.
It's a dope cover. It's a dope cover.
I don't know, man. I get commie vibes from Josiah.
You say commie vibes?
commie vibes.
It's because of the red star in his uniform, isn't it?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, okay,
Well, understand his color scheme is red, black, and green.
I know, but I need more black and a little bit more green. That
Or
look
green,
like
maybe, but his whole costume is black.
that,
But he
yeah,
does
but
look more green.
you know and I know. See, the Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey
Yeah,
at the Black Star Line.
yeah.
That's the Red Star Line. I don't know. That book, y'all get that book. That might be on the
Eclectic asked if he meets his nephew. Yes, he talks about his nephew in this book. He talks about his nephew.
See, this is one of them. See, this is ADOS. This is ADOS problem. You Black Panther fans, y'all got the problem with the book, T'Challa being dead. Now this is the Black Americans' problem. Y'all gonna buy this book? Yeah. Y'all endorsing slavery? Okay. All right. Reparations?
James says, please tell me they redeemed the slavery situation.
Yeah.
I can't tell you that it's been redeemed per se. They addressed it. They recognize it. Has it been redeemed?
I'm just waiting for the good time theme to start.
Look, there's a lot of things. Look, you have a guy who's got a movie out right now, Sam Wilson. You do the movie comic book tie-in, which is pretty much standard issue with Marvel now.
Right.
There are a lot of storylines they could have done. I don't necessarily know if this is the one they should have ran with.
No.
Because if I'm some casual who just left the theater saying, okay, let me try out this comic book with Sam Wilson, I don't know if this is the storyline you kind of want to run with.
No, no. I can emphatically say, dude.
Yeah, I want to like this. I really, it's Evan Narcisse, who's one of the co-writers on this, but I really want to like this. But man, that the slavery thing, it really just bothers me, and I can't really put into words why. But the imagery, we have enough Black trauma in comics, in media in general.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need to see more Black trauma, slavery type trope type stuff.
Well, I mean, it really is not necessarily the trope. It's the programming.
Yeah,
the programming. You know, Black people have been programmed. And I say a lot of goofy stuff and be silly at times, but the truth is, we don't like to see the mirror to our face when we recognize that our people were programmed. And it's hard to consider what went into the programming, because again, slavery is definitely a part of that. But to be able to have hold of people after slavery is over with, Jim Crow, redlining, Reconstruction, crack, AIDS, the pandemic, whatever you want to call it, is still a level of programming taking place. And so to see that, now it don't feel good. Ain't supposed to feel good. I mean, shout out to Evan Narcisse. I think he's a dope writer, dope artist. But I think he's playing into that. And here's the thing about writing. Good writing, or writers, their job is to make you feel something. And so if you're uncomfortable with this, that's kind of part of the job, to make you feel like, ugh, you know what I'm saying? This, I detest this, or I don't understand this. You know what I'm saying? It's not bad writing. To your point, Paul, you said yourself, I want to like this. But it's the trauma that's part of it. And no one wants to see themselves just like a slave, or see themselves doing something and they're not in control. When that's been the history of Black people in this country.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly the point.
Did we get that last super chat? It was frustrated fans, I believe.
Yeah, he wants to save BP. We're going to save BP one super chat at a time.
Keep on back!
Thank
All
you.
right. So next up, X-Force. This issue made me mad.
Why?
It made me mad. Shout out to Jeffrey Thorne, our dude. It made me mad because I heard X-Force is canceled. And this is a damn good issue. This is actually a damn good issue. And I'm like, how did he cancel a book that did an issue like this? So this ties into the X-Men Hunt storyline. I don't want to go into detail of it. Charles Xavier, after the Krakoa era, was locked in prison because he was a bad guy. He breaks out of prison because he wants to save his daughter. He has a child with Landra of the Shi'ar, and she's in trouble. So he breaks out of prison to go save her. He's trying to recruit various X-Men to help him. The X-Men are like, dude, you're a jerk. We don't like you. You're evil. You caused a lot of problems. You deserve to be in prison. He goes to Storm. Storm tries to help him out of loyalty or whatever.
He says that Will I Am on the cover.
That's kind of the whole thing. One of the people who's truly loyal to him is Sage. She's like, you're my man, 100 grand, no matter what, I got your back. Because you helped me out of bad situations. I owe you for life. I don't care what they say about you. Mm-hmm. So this is an issue Sage, who has left the X-Force team after Surge has died, and she's trying to save Charles Xavier. She recruits John Wraith. Now, shout out to my man, Jeffrey Thorne. This is what I talk about when I talk about with writers and being creative at Marvel. Marvel's got all these hundreds of characters, and I'm tired of seeing the same characters all the time. I love when you reach into the toy box and you pull out characters that you just haven't seen in a long time, characters in obscurity, you dust them off, give them a new coat of paint, and you got a dope character. That's what he did with John Wraith. He is a mutant who has teleporting powers, and she uses him on his cape to try and save Charles Xavier in a really cool way. This was a dope issue.
Yep.
It was a well-written issue, lots of action, lots of good exposition with Sage. Hearing the story from her point of view. He literally could have been the whole writer on the whole X-Men Hunt, Quiet as Kept. Jeffrey Thorne is actually listening to me saying this right now. But, you know, he literally could have been the writer on the whole X-Men Hunt series.
Yep.
Crossover. This is how well this particular issue was written. So I'm really saddened that X-Force isn't going to continue, because he could have done really cool things. And he brought back the artist that I really like. His original artist was on this issue, who's a fantastic artist, by the way.
Yeah. And by the way, Sally's comment about why did I hit ADOS or FDA with a stray? I'm just kidding. I'm just like I said, I'm just having fun with it, y'all. Don't take me serious. I'm just playing. Yeah. This is the toy box. To Paul's point, I'm playing in the toy box. So let me be infantile, because I can't be that in real life. This is my.
Just honorable mention at the end here, because there's a couple things we got to talk about. Zatanna, if you're not picking up this series, this is both written and drawn by Jamal Campbell. He is both the writer and artist on this series, Zatanna.
Okay.
A lot of people don't know that, so you might want to give this a shot.
That's what's up. Bo Big with the super chat.
Bo Big, thank you.
Thank you. Let's hit him up.
Show me the money. I need to feel you, Jerry. Show me the money. Jerry, you better yell. Show me the money. I love black people.
So we have two other things we want to promo that's coming up. We got 10 minutes left before we wrap this up. The first one is this. Our man, John Jennings, has been working on a project for years. He's been talking to us about, and it's finally reaching fruition, which is his Lion Man concept. So let me pull this up here. Can you guys see? There we go.
This ain't got no music to it.
I hope not.
Oh, yeah. Hey, we're live.
There's the music.
Wow, butterfly. Wow, Ace Harlem. So shout out to John Jennings, Rosarium Publishing. He's got his group Megascope. They're, you know, a lot of these characters are public domain now. Lion Man, one of the original black superheroes in comics, bringing him back. As you saw in the video there, they also had characters like Ace Harlem and Butterfly, which was the first black superheroine in comics. That's a big project. I mean, we have a lot of these original characters that are now public domain that people are starting to bring back. John Jennings, if you know his work, you know he's very big on public. He's got a whole universe of public domain characters that he's been tinkering with for several years now. He keeps promising us he's gonna release these characters in their own universe, which I'm looking forward to. But that's something that's on it's on Backer right now. I forget it's called Backer It. It's kind of like a Kickstarter type thing. Please go out there and support. So just
Yes.
throw that out there. Go on the Black Comic Lords Facebook page. The information's on there. Derek, you have something coming up this Saturday, right? You want to talk about Stranger Comics?
Absolutely, absolutely. So just a little bit of information. Sebastian Jones of Stranger Comics is launching a new Kickstarter for Niobe and his fantasy world of Asunda. So we are super excited, as we'll have the Black Comic Lords exclusive Virgin edition as an add-on in the campaign, as well as the original editions. So we're going to be the guests on this Kickstarter launch event, which is called StrangerCon. It's going to be on the Stranger Comics YouTube live stream channel. And we're going to stream on the event. We'll be on about 4 p.m. Pacific time, which is 7 p.m. Eastern time. And they're going to have tons of guests all day, starting with, let's see, Yatidi Badaki. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly. And then in addition, all attendees get Akira Dragon homage comic. So you can kind of see one of the two Akira homage comics here. And if we hit 200 likes, then there'll be more free stuff to come out. So let's just flip through a few of these other covers that are going to be featured.
Wow. There's Silence of the Lambs cover.
Yeah, Silence of the Lamb is sick. Oh, I love it.
That David Mack is a work of art.
Now, something else, the Kickstarter has binge rewards and exclusive collector deals. The artists include David Mack, which Paul just mentioned, Jay Lee, Ivan Tao, and Tahani Farr. Authors include Yatide Badaki. Day One has a free Eternity homage. So let's see, is that?
Oh yeah,
So there's the
I
BCL.
recognize that one.
Yeah, the one on the
Yeah.
left is the BCL variant. The one on the right, I guess, is a Death Note, probably a Death Note homage. Yep.
That's our
Yeah.
variant.
Yep. I'm not familiar with the Eternity one, so if you know which one that one would be.
The one on the left there looked
Oh.
like the actor, the guy who played Jar Jar Binks in Star Wars. What's
Oh
his name?
goodness.
Doesn't that look like him?
What? Yeah, it does look like him. I
Doesn't it?
wonder. I wonder. He does.
That one on the right, that's clearly Jay Lee, right?
Okay. I do think so. It looks like it.
Yeah, it's Jay Lee.
So we got
Oh, these
these
are so
two.
beautiful.
Now the one on the right here that looks like the actress who's doing the writing. How do you say her name? Lee Badunda.
I'm trying to find it again. Let's see. Yatide Bakati.
Yatide
Badaki.
But
Yes,
okay.
you'll recognize her from American Gods. She played one of the gods in that series. Also, most recently, she was on an episode of Star Trek: Strange New Worlds, the second episode of the second season, I believe, in which she played an alien lawyer. She did a fantastic job in that. That's one of the best episodes of Star Trek I've ever watched, actually.
Now, also, back to this Eternity homage. Okay, so this is, I guess, the Eternity homage would be, this one here. Okay,
that's what's
so
up.
This is the Eternity homage, and then on the back cover of that one would be stats for Dura Ugella.
Yeah.
So check out the early bird deals, like the Silence of the Lambs homage, which we just showed. So this is going to be a dope show. Once again, 4 p.m. Pacific time, 7 p.m. this coming Saturday. Stranger Comics YouTube channel, and some of the Black Comic Lords will be there. So
and there's
hopefully we will
day
see you out
one
there.
prizes too. So
Absolutely.
if you pledge immediately, there are day one prizes because I plan on getting my prizes. Okay.
So that show is what, this Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time?
That's it.
All right. So check us out, y'all, on Saturday Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m.
And one other thing, we'll give you a little tip here, okay? If you go now, you can on the Kickstarter, and that's gonna be a little different. You can order things on the Kickstarter, but you can also go to Stranger Comics website, and anything that you see on the website, if you use the code BCL, you get a 10% discount off your purchase. They've got books, they've got all sorts of other things, including even swords. So a lot of opportunities for you to buy things on the Stranger Comics website as well. So,
all right.
Can't say we never told you about it.
All right. So we promised to keep this episode under 2 hours. We're an hour and a minute and a half short of that.
So, I got a quick flex, Paul.
Oh, go ahead and flex so I can outflex you.
I know you have another flex, but this is,
Let me see your flex first. Let me see your flex first.
Meteor Man, #1, newsstand 9.8.
Oh, that's nice. That's really nice, man. That's really nice. So I have a flex too.
He just brushed you off. Wow.
So mine may not be as good as Meteor Man, but it is a Fantastic Four.
Oh, nice.
Very nice.
Stan Lee signed.
Stand by Stan.
Very, very nice. Very nice.
This moves into my #1 position
Super
as
flex.
to my collectibles. It doesn't get better than Fantastic 52 signed by Stan Lee. It's just, I'm done. I'm good. The only thing left for me to get this year that I've set as a goal is a giant size X-Men #1. So if you don't own one of those, I don't know what to tell you.
I don't own one of those. So you're not telling me anything.
I don't know what to tell you. But you got
it. So Paul, your flex deserves one of these.
Damn! You gosh darn right it does. You gosh darn right. And now we've gone over the 2 hour limit.
Uh-oh. Okay.
That's all your fault. Because you wanted to put your little minor flex up there. But that's fine.
Oh, why you gotta be so dismissive?
Very dismissive. All right, y'all. Thank y'all very much. Please hit the like button if you haven't done so already. Share this video. Even after it's done, share the video on your social media. I don't care what platform. Share it. We're trying to grow the channel. We're trying to hit 5,000 subscribers on our YouTube channel before the end of this year. That's our goal. We would love to get there. Several hundred and 600 more people to get there. And subscribe to this channel if you're not subscribed already. And it costs you nothing. It literally costs you nothing, but it means the world to us. So thank y'all for joining us. We appreciate you. We'll see you next time. We're going to do these Wednesday wrap-ups a lot more often. We schedule them at least every other week, and with interviews in between those, so that we can have a more regular production of this. And give us a break, because quite frankly, we're working too damn hard. Shout out, one last shout out though. Want to give a shout out to Mr. Brandon Thomas. Gave the team a hookup. Here's my Excellence is Real poster signed by Brandon Thomas. And he also hooked us up with an Excellence omnibus signed by him. So that was cool. Appreciate that. People think we get a bunch of free stuff. We actually don't. It's actually amazing.
I do. I do.
I know Angel does because she's Angel. But as many interviews as we do, a simple thing like, hey, appreciate the interview with you guys. Here's some free stuff. That happens tremendously rare for us. It's kind of weird. I should probably ask for stuff for doing what we do. But, you know, it's nice when somebody decides to say, hey, we're going to hook you guys up. So shout out to Brendan Thomas. Appreciate you, bro. And I'm done.
All right.
You guys have anything else? Rich?
I'm good.
You look like you have something on your mind, bro. Go ahead and get it off your chest.
I do. No, this is after the show. This is after the show.
That's the after the show thing?
Yeah, it's after the show.
All right, after the show. All right. Black Comic Lords. We got you.